Slapping hands is the lowest form of male primate ritual. In fact, even some of them have moved on. They're using sign language now. Because we watched Season 9, Episode 11, The Dealership. So, Katie.
Hello.
How did you like The Dealership?
Fine.
Mm-hmm. I think there were some good parts about this. I don't think it...
This felt like earlier seasons Seinfeld, in a way.
Yeah?
I felt like the stories made sense together in a way that wasn't super forced.
Yeah?
They were related to one another. I didn't really... The only thing I was really groaning and rolling my eyes at was George. In his just insane behavior.
A lot of criticism for George for this episode.
Yeah.
I think it tried to capture some of the other, I'll call them bottle episodes for lack of a better word, like the Chinese restaurant, the parking garage. I don't know if it was quite as effective as those, but I think there was a lot of good underrated lines in this episode.
Yeah.
And, kind of like moved along for the most part. It was pretty good. And they were all storylines, all made sense together.
Yeah.
So The Dealership was written by Stephen Coren. It was directed by Andy Ackerman. It aired on January 8th, 1998. It is the first episode to air after announcing that season 9 would be the last season of the show. I also don't know if Screen Crush, Vulture, and IMDb have ever agreed more on episode ranking. So Screen Crush ranked it as the 80th best episode.
Okay.
Vulture ranked it as the 78th best episode. And IMDb has it as the 70th best episode.
This is insane, but maybe we have to do a deviation comparison.
Okay, you can do that.
Okay.
Screen Crush really didn't mention very much. It was very much like written as like an episode recap almost.
Okay.
It just said that Twix is the best candy bar because it has the cookie crumble.
Cookie Crunch?
Cookie Crunch. And then Vulture praised it for like the parody of Con Scream. The second time they used that. And it said that Putty and Elaine were less sex obsessed than in other episodes where they were together.
I don't think they've ever been sex obsessed.
And Kramer's storyline was absurd.
That's an odd comment to make.
That Elaine and Putty were sex obsessed?
Yeah. I
think maybe one of the only things that they really had in common is like a physical attraction.
Oh, sure. But I wouldn't say... But they didn't talk about it. Like their banter was about other things.
Sure.
Most of the time. That's a weird comment.
Okay. I didn't make it.
Let's throw it back to last week when I asked you if you remembered this episode.
Jerry buys a new car from Putty at a dealership. And based off how things are going with Elaine, things are going well with Jerry and Putty or not.
And?
I think I nailed it.
I'll read the synopsis. Jerry negotiates buying a car from Putty. Oh, before I continue, you laughed while I was writing this down. What made you laugh when I was reading the synopsis or writing it down?
I don't remember.
Okay. George can't get a Twix out of a vending machine. Kramer takes a salesman on a thrilling test drive.
Elaine is also there.
Elaine is also there. Elaine has more to do with this story than Kramer does, than George does. Well, I don't know. That's not true, but justice for Elaine.
Doesn't mention Putty at all.
Nope. So who are the guest stars?
So obviously we had Patrick Warburton returning. Patrick to reprise his role as Putty. And then there was like a bunch of people in and around the dealership. So we had Daniel Hagen, who played Rick.
Who's Rick?
He was the salesman that was in the car with Kramer.
Okay.
Kramer didn't really care about his name. He was in the movie The Informant with Matt Damon.
Oh, yeah.
He was in something called The Guardian, and he was in a couple of episodes of the TV show Clueless. Remember when the TV show Clueless came out?
Yes, and a Canadian actress was Cher. And I think my cousin played hockey with her. growing up?
In the show?
No.
Yeah, I think Alicia Silverstone was unavailable. Jack McCrary played Don.
Who's Don?
Don was the mechanic who had a short name.
Okay.
He was in... I wasn't going to include this because I've not heard of it, although that doesn't stop me. But he was in something called Kicking It, or Kicking It, where he played a character called Bobby Wasabi. He was also in the movie American Beauty. And he was in a TV show, like a lot of episodes of a TV show called Dwight in Shining Armor.
That is a fake NBC promo by the writers of Community.
There's a lot of fake TV show names. Wait until we get to D. Freeman.
Intensive Karen.
Michael Cajun played Willie. Who's that? He was the guy, the service manager, I guess, for lack of a better word. The guy that was behind the window.
Sure.
So he was in an episode of Star Trek Voyager, an episode of Friends, an episode of Desperate Housewives, and an episode of How I Met Your Mother. Remember that show?
We watched the whole thing.
Did we watch the finale?
I don't know.
I don't think we watched the finale. D. Freeman played the service assistant, the woman that was working with Willie.
Okay.
Okay, so she was in the TV show Shameless. I think one episode of the TV show Shameless. And then she was in a bunch of other things, and I wrote down 2 because I don't think their names work grammatically. She was in something called Urban Teach Now. And then she was in a TV show that was on IMDb, at least, is called Pretty the Series.
Okay.
Not that it's not it wasn't a TV show called Pretty.
Like comma the series.
Comma the series, or like Pretty in brackets telling you it's not the movie Pretty. It is called Pretty the Series.
Okay, weird.
Anyways, Riff Hutton, who was the first salesman that George yelled at when he said, like, take another step and we're out here. He was in Star Trek Generations.
Oh.
The movie. He was in X-Men Days of the Future Past, and he was in the movie Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds. Steve Suskind.
There's a lot of people in this episode.
There's a lot of people in this episode. Who was just credited as customer number 1, but he was one of the people that got to eat a candy bar in the candy bar lineup.
And a donut, I think.
Yes. The last one. He was in Monsters, Inc., Friday the 13th, Part 3, and House. Not the TV show, the movie.
Brackets,
from
the
1980 something. That was like a horror movie. I assume Host tries to kill you.
There were so many guest stars, I've forgotten what we're even talking about.
The episode of Seinfeld called The Dealership. This is a Seinfeld podcast.
Just barely.
So, cold open, they're talking about flying cars and how they don't have them in 1998.
Yep. Doesn't Ed Bedley Jr. have one? No, it's just an electric car.
I don't know who that is.
He's an actor. You would recognize his face. But he said himself his first electric car was basically a golf cart closed in with a horn and windshield wipers.
Okay.
But he's famously bought and championed electric cars since the 70s.
Okay.
I like the line, the government is very touchy about us being in the air.
Even more so now. So I was this is season 9, episode 11.
Yes.
Have you read the 9/11 spec script for Seinfeld? If you did, you don't remember it. I do have it somewhere. I'll have to. So somebody wrote a spec script for like 9/11 happens in the Seinfeld universe.
Oh my God.
Anyways.
Did that just come up because it's season 9, episode 11?
Yeah.
This didn't come out on September 11th.
And they don't want us in the air?
Oh, okay. George's advice for Jerry is, you're not sure what you want. You don't even know why you're here.
I think this is like old-timey advice for like buying a car. You show up and you're like, well, I don't know.
But you actually do know what you want?
Yeah.
Well, we recently bought a car.
You have to feign ignorance.
You did not do that when we bought the car. You're like, this is the car a year. This is the VIN number of the car I want. Please let me drive it and then buy it from you.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did.
He didn't even ask us about the rust proofing.
No undercoat. I mean, the salesman was very nice, but sometimes he would just say like, well, you know more about this than I do, so I'm not even going to bother.
He was not super informed.
Well, it was an electric car, so there was an electric car salesman who like studied them, and that was his specialty. And then I think he had a heart attack the day we were going to go meet him.
I talked to him afterwards a couple of times.
He's okay?
He was fine. Okay. He was taken away in an ambulance and then came back to work a few hours later.
After we had shown up.
So I guess he's okay. And then he was at work a week later.
Okay.
So,
well, good for whatever his name was.
I think he's younger than I am.
Selling electric cars is, it's a stressful business.
Not to knock this guy. He seemed very knowledgeable when I talked to him.
Mm-hmm.
He did provide me his full name, and I did Google him, and I did find his very public Instagram account.
Mm-hmm.
3 years ago, he was working at Best Buy selling like electronics,
and now he's promotion.
And now he's a senior electric vehicle sales specialist.
Maybe he lied on his resume, and the pressure is catching up to him.
Gotta sell enough electric cars before they figure out I'm a fraud.
George mentions, he starts ranting about how to act at a dealership immediately. And I don't have a problem with it at this point because everybody's who's been sold anything feels this like icky pressure to like get into something you don't want or like spend more money than you wanted to. And it's not, nothing's out in the open. It's all like, oh, well, now we can talk about the other fees and blah, blah.
I think with anything like a car or to a lesser extent, like cell phone plans, why are these things like this where it's like, oh yeah, there's a price, but you got to talk to a guy and figure out what the price is that you're going to pay.
Yes. Why couldn't we, if we bought the car that we researched online and found the location and the VIN number of, why couldn't we just say, bring it to me, give me that car now?
We could. But remember then we were like, we went down there. We're like, hey, we'll see you. We'll sign the paperwork, expecting to get the car. And then they're like, oh yeah, you can pick this up in a week.
Like, why? It's right here. What do you have to do to it? Like, we have to drive out to the dealership again.
I don't know how.
I don't understand the dealership model. I guess, I mean, for what it's worth, Tesla doesn't really operate that way. You just order your car. Right?
You can do that with other cars.
You can custom order a vehicle, but it still goes somewhere, and you're still in the dealer network somehow. You can't just ship a car from the factory to your house. I don't think. You have to have some middleman, and that sucks. If you know exactly what you want, why can't you just buy it?
It's the goddamn lobbyists.
I mean, you can do that with a house. I wouldn't, but you don't have to use a realtor. You can just buy or sell your house by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Arguably, a car is less of a risk, especially a new car. Anyone here is a car salesperson, please contact us.
They're going to be biased and going to like talk about how great car salesmen and dealerships are.
I would like to hear a rebuttal to everything we've said so far. Anyway, George starts on his rant, and at some point he brings up that his parents had a Le Car.
The fabric sunroof.
So, had you ever heard of a Le Car?
No. I assume it's a French car.
It's a Renault.
Mm-hmm.
And it was called R5 in Europe, and it was very popular. And Renault brought it to North America and rebranded it as Le Car in North America. And it was not popular. Their own slogan was low on style, high on practicality.
Awesome.
But apparently it sold very well in Canada. Well, compared to the US.
I feel like that level of European car doesn't do well.
Well, no, I mean, the time it came in like the, I guess, early 80s. It
was probably like the gas crisis. So it's like an underpowered lawnmower engine.
It's also
great gas mileage.
But cars like VW Rabbit and a Ford Fiesta, like there used to be a market for those cars.
Mm-hmm.
And the buying public has been convinced that we need gigantic vehicles.
Yeah.
So you can't even buy, my only experiences with Ford, you can't buy a Ford car. They're all SUVs and trucks, except for a Mustang.
Mm-hmm.
And that's crazy. Like, we bought a smaller vehicle than we had before. And it's wonderful. I feel, I don't feel like I'm driving a boat anymore.
Yeah.
I think the next car we buy is going to be like a f***ing car. It's going to be tiny.
2-seater.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 3-wheeler.
No, not like Mr. Bean's Nemesis 3-wheeled car.
One thing that I did see, and it was, I think Hank Green actually posted it. And he's very much like he drives a Chevy Bolt and he has like level 1 charging. And he's very much like, you don't need a big car. You don't need a super powerful engine. However, statistically, the like greatest indicator that if you are in an accident, that it will be a fatal accident is the ratio of car masses. So if like you are like, which kind of makes sense, right? Like if you are hit by a bigger car in a smaller car, it's more likely that it would be fatal. If you were hit by a smaller car and you're in a bigger car, so to protect yourself, you should buy the biggest car possible so that if something hits you, you will not die.
Well, also, more pedestrians die because cars are bigger.
Oh, yeah.
And you can't see children over the end of the hood of your car.
Yeah.
They're far less safe for the rest of the world, but far more safe for the driver. And if that's not an individualistic society at work, tell me what is.
I remember hearing that the Cybertruck, one of the reasons that the Cybertruck couldn't be sold
talk about the Cybertruck
is because
let's talk about it.
One of the safety things is that cars have to crumple.
Yeah.
And it's like a safety feature. Like you cannot not crumple. And obviously this big hunk of ugly, sharp, jagged metal doesn't crumple and just like slices pedestrians down like a
wrench. A dumpster on wheels.
Yeah.
Well, dumpsters have wheels, so that's redundant.
Some do.
I don't know if a day will come when I see a Cybertruck and I don't scream and laugh at it.
I went to the gym and I parked in the parking lot and there's often one Cybertruck there, but one day there was 2 Cybertrucks there and I took a video because there's nothing like the only thing dumber than one Cybertruck is another Cybertruck.
Do you know who drives these?
It's like parents of kids that are in like the kids classes before me.
Because, I mean, I think you'd agree, there's an overlap with martial arts, conservatism, stupid cars.
Yeah, sure.
Right? So.
Well, like, I think there's I don't know about stupid cars. I think maybe like Teslas and conservatives, there's an overlap of, and then obviously like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, there's an overlap of conservative people in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So you obviously get them.
I won't lump all of Tesla's in with that. I'll only put in Cybertrucks because regular people bought Teslas before Elon went crazy.
I mean, I think Elon's always been crazy.
Yes, true.
Allegedly. And he's always lied, but like he's very recently gone like fascist and like super right wing.
Yes.
But he's always been a fraudster.
Yes,
and a liar.
But then you cross into fascism and you're like, well, now we
that's
have to buy a sticker and put it on our car that says pre-fascism Tesla.
Yeah.
All right. What are we talking about?
Just to be clear, we don't have to do that because we didn't buy a Tesla.
We didn't buy a Tesla.
You have to. Who bought a Tesla and drive it? You know who you are.
I really liked when Jerry called Putty a grease monkey and Putty didn't like it. And then they went on a bit of a monkey tangent. And Jerry goes, I saw a monkey that could do sign language. I saw that one. Coco. High five. And did you know we have a book about Coco?
I didn't know we had a book about Coco, although we had if you ask me, do we have a book about something? Odds are We got it.
But you've heard of Coco.
I do. Yes, I have heard of Coco.
Did you know about Coco's kitten?
Coco had a kitten.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have a book about it.
Oh, okay.
It is very sad.
Oh.
I hate that book.
Okay.
I should probably just get rid of it.
Is this a Harambe situation?
I mean, the kitten died.
Yeah.
I don't think Coco killed the kitten. I think the kitten died. I also really laughed when Jerry asked Elaine, have you noticed that he does this thing? She's like, what? The squinting? The staring?
No. So after Jerry's talking to Putty alone, George has gone off because he's starving, and he goes and finds a vending machine. And, classic, 80s, 90s vending machine taking paper bills.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of laughs that Jason Alexander gets for how he's trying to stuff this crumpled bill into the thing. I don't know. It was
this is where George went off the rails for me. And I wrote at this point, businesses have those signs that ask you to respect their staff because of George. Because he is crazy and he's yelling at everybody.
He's not even a customer.
No.
Could you imagine if somebody was like, hey, I'm going to go buy a car. Why don't you come with me?
Somebody that I know tangentially is buying a new car and has sent a friend to go investigate and test drive and research cars for her.
I can understand that. But as the activity you're doing with your Saturday, we're all going down to the dealership together.
Well, I mean, I kind of sympathize with George because we spent so much time at that dealership.
Oh, yes.
I got hungry and a little bit angry, a little bit hangry.
It comes up in a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode, but I wonder if it was related to this episode. Oh, I guess it's not because it happened to Larry David. You can cut this all. It doesn't matter.
But tell me.
So he pulls it into Curb Your Enthusiasm episode, but in real life, he had a car and there was a dealership that gave you free licorice, and he really liked the licorice, so he would just take the car in and be like, oh, it was making a weird sound. Can you check it out for me? And they're like, yeah, sure. And he would hang out and get free licorice in the dealership.
Oh my God. But this wasn't on Curb. This is something Larry David did.
Yes, both.
My friend will not high five.
You can bleep this out, but who and also why?
I don't know why. She refuses to high five. And his mission in life is to get a high five. I think he actually made a t-shirt that said high five and gave it to everyone he worked with, including her, and she would not wear it.
What did the t-shirt say?
Just something about a high five.
Oh.
Give me a high five. Do you think that she...
What did I say? It's the lowest form of primal...
male primate ritual.
Mm-hmm.
That's strong feelings about something pretty innocuous, isn't it?
I don't know. I know you're going to bring up at the end the wave at a baseball game and how I feel about it.
Well, let's talk about it now.
Uh-huh.
Before I met you, if the wave went round, I'd do a woo. Why not? You're out having fun with other people. I don't see anything wrong with it. Now, is this going to... Hold on. Before you continue, is this going to turn into a Sixth Sense scenario? My
biggest problem with the wave is people don't understand timing. And I'm not talking about people in the stands. I'm talking about the people that start the wave.
Uh-huh.
You're at whatever sporting event. It's your team needs to win this game to make it to the postseason. It's tied 2-2. There's 45 seconds left in the game.
Yeah.
And some doofus stands up and is like, we're doing the wave. What? No, that is not the time to do the wave.
Yeah.
You know when the time to do the wave is?
At the start.
Your team... No. Not at the start. Your team is up 11-0.
Well, I was going to say when the stakes are low.
When the stakes are low, sure. Have at it. Do the wave. Go ahead.
That's the time for fun.
That is the time for fun.
You don't want anybody standing up in front of you.
No, you want to pay attention to the game.
I agree with you.
It's nail biter. They call it a nail biter. And then some.
But you are against the wave in all circumstances. You said do it whenever. But if our team was up 9-0 and someone did the wave, you would still not do it.
I don't have to do it, but I'm upset when other people are doing it at the wrong time. I'm not, no.
Should we start calling it the Mexican wave like Australians do?
Yeah, maybe people will think that it's racist, so
they'll
stop doing it.
You know what's stupid?
You.
I also laughed. The one time that at this point that I thought George was funny was when he confronted the mechanic who said he had nougat on his face. And he goes, I think I've reached a point in my life where I can tell the difference between cookie and nougat.
I feel like that was good. I feel like there was a scene that I think could have worked. They didn't play it right. Like the timing was a little bit off, but where George is this like chocolate bar savant and everybody else is super oblivious to everything. Like I think there's something in that scene that they could have done, and it kind of works with like people rapidly chiming in and like, oh no, I don't like coconut. There's no coconut in that one. Yeah. Like, I like the one with the swirling chocolate in the commercial. They all have swirling chocolate.
Yeah. Where did George get the money for the lineup?
So this is people's, I think, biggest problem with this episode is you have George would not act so illogically, especially with like gluttony, that he would be like, I'm so hungry. I'm going to get enough money to buy 10 candy bars and not eat one. Yeah. Like, I think it makes sense if he buys 11 and eats one and then does this.
Sure.
But to do that and then be like, I'm so hungry still, give me one. And then like.
All he had to do was be shown eating one while he's like setting something up. And then we get the payoff of he's making this lineup. Yeah.
But then what's your punchline for everybody eating it? He just screams like Twix into the sky.
I hated that.
Yeah, but you're not a Star Trek fan. That's a lie. You're a Star Trek fan. You're watching DS9 all by yourself.
But I haven't seen the movies.
You sent me a gif of Garrett and Kira that made it look like they were...
In flagrante delicto.
In flagrante delicto.
So one thing I wrote at the window scene where George is at the window and he's got the service manager and his dad and all the customers around. And the dad is like, you could get a Twix for a nickel. There was a conversation just like this at the pub we had lunch at today. Were you overhearing what I was overhearing?
The date that the people next to us were on?
That was a weird date, but I meant the big group.
Oh, no, I couldn't hear what they were saying. All I could hear was the date that was happening next to us. And I couldn't tell if it was a date or they were a boyfriend and girlfriend or they were just, I don't know. Anyways.
They acted like they were boyfriend and girlfriend, but they were talking
like they had never met each other.
Yeah. Yes. They were like, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite color? That kind of conversation. No, the big group was someone's birthday. And the oldest member of the group was like the dad sitting there. And she had an opinion about everything. And I was like, how long before it turns racist?
The only thing I heard, maybe from, I don't know who it was from, maybe it was from the same woman, was when she didn't know whether cars were called SUVs or SVUs. Yes. Although she did know that SVU stood for Special Victims Unit.
Yeah.
So we really haven't mentioned Kramer at all.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I didn't write anything. I guess it was just fine. We knew what was happening. And I appreciated that the storyline, the car salesman is concerned. He's saying like, okay, turn right, we'll go back to the dealership. And Kramer gets him to open up and he feels alive for the first time. It wasn't very funny though. Was it?
No, like it's funny in its absurdity, but I find things are sometimes absurd, but not laugh out loud funny.
Yeah. I know it was a Thelma and Louise reference when they held hands, even though I haven't seen the movie.
You can probably let go of my hand now. You liked the Jerry calls Elaine. You got to get back here before Putty gives me a good deal. Who is this?
Yep, I wrote that down.
So I think this is the fourth Who Is This?
Okay.
In Seinfeld. And I think this is the last one, at least the last one between Jerry and Elaine. There might be another one.
See, no one calls me, so I can't use this line.
I'll call you more often.
Oh, don't. I'll think something terrible has happened.
Yeah. I got a call while I was in a meeting from our school, and it comes up like school name office. And I'm like, oh no, what's going on?
Yeah.
And they were just like, oh, you won the auction at the end of your barbecue. And I was like,
come and pick up your basket of dog food.
fantastic.
Yeah. And when you answered it, though.
Oh, yeah.
There was like sniffling.
I picked it up and immediately it was like, I was like, oh no, she's crying.
Yeah.
And it was just the secretary who went to work with a cold. I did like Jerry's logic when he was talking to Elaine. You're going to get back together anyway. There's thousands of dollars on the line here.
I assume that Putty hangs around to basically the end of the season.
Yeah, pretty much.
Good.
I did like when George was asked what he wanted, and he said, all I want is my 75 cents back, an apology, and for him to be fired.
Yeah. I just thought of something.
Mm-hmm.
So Putty has basically joined the cast as like a recurring guest star in this season. And isn't that what they tried to do with Susan?
Oh, yeah, that's fair. I guess fans complained that Susan and George didn't have chemistry, whereas Putty and
Elaine are all chemistry.
Nobody can get enough Putty.
Basically, no one else will date either of you.
Yeah. So what do I have to do to put you two in a relationship today? I liked the flipperoo.
Yeah. So did we like this episode? I think we did.
I think it was good. It was like a fine episode. Yeah, it was a good one.
You have something up your sleeve, but I have a couple of corrections.
Yeah, you can do that.
So a couple of weeks ago, for some reason, we were talking about Halloween candy.
Okie dokie.
And I was talking about the terrible, like, wax paper wrapped
the
witch candies.
Yeah.
But then the good cow candies.
I don't know the cow candies. You said they were Ukrainian.
I suspected that they were, and they are.
Yeah.
And they're called korivka, and I bought some.
Oh, wow.
Do you want to try one?
Sure.
I bought 2 bags.
Oh, my God.
I've already eaten some.
Well, our daughter keeps stealing your other. Wow, these are.
They're bigger than I remember.
This is a substantial.
I think they might have been bought by another company and made bigger. Like this is a bigger package than I remember.
Shchokorova każe. Korivka Roshan. What does I assume Korivka is like little cow?
Little cow.
Yeah. This is too nice of a candy to get on Halloween.
Hey, you didn't go to the right houses.
I guess not. I did get full cans of Coke sometimes.
That's a weird thing to give children.
You never got full cans of Coke?
No.
This is almost like fudge.
Yeah.
No.
They're good, right?
This is much better than the orange witchy Halloween
it's
candies.
Like sort of a firmer outside, but a soft, not caramel, but like a...
It's like a sandy fudge-like consistency.
Yeah. I had another correction somewhere.
Okay.
Last week, we laughed because you called saxophone a woodwind and then a brass. It is a woodwind because of the reed.
Yeah.
Also, when you put the saxophone together for me, and you made fun of me because I couldn't put it together myself, and then I played it, off mic you said, oh, I put this together wrong. And then you fixed it, and then you played it. So you tilted the board.
I thought that was on mic. The reed was slightly askew.
It was enough that you had to fix it before you played it.
So what you're saying is I put it in my mouth, and immediately I knew there was a problem. Whereas you attempted to play it and did not notice that there was any problem.
The first time
Clearly,
I
am
put
a
a reeded
superior
instrument in my mouth.
That wasn't the challenge. The challenge was play a saxophone.
And I did.
And I did better.
Yeah. But I made sounds and you made sounds. I wouldn't call what either of us did, quote unquote, playing a saxophone. And I'm doing air quotes, just like Jerry Seinfeld hates.
Did I play a scale? You cannot deny that I did not play a scale.
There's too many negatives in there, but
I have video of me playing a scale.
I can tell you really need this, so I'm going to give it to you.
I don't really need this. I'm just not going to let it go.
That's all I have.
Well, I have spent the last hour preparing 7 candy bars with no wrappers or identification of any kind.
I knew you were up to
for
something.
you to select from. Only I hold the answer key to their true candy identities. And so, without further ado, I give you the candy bar lineup.
I thought you were going to cook for me. You said you had to prepare something for this episode, and I didn't think it was 7 cheap candy bars.
Oh, how cheap they are.
I got you Ukrainian cow candy. I was walking in with a platter of turds. Oh, they're all cut up too. Okay. What do I do?
So how do you want to play this? Do you want to rate them? Do you want to find the Twix?
That's a Twix.
She says confidently.
That's 100% a Twix.
Can you identify any other candy bars?
Can I touch them, or I'm just looking?
They're yours to eat, so yes, you can touch them.
Okay, this is Twix. This is one I don't like. No, this is Coffee Crisp. That's Mars. What the hell is this? I don't recognize. Is this Almond Joy? What is this with the lump on it? Is that Almond Joy?
I don't know.
This is Milka because it says Milka on it.
I forgot. I was gonna scratch that off, and I forgot.
Okay, I'm gonna eat this one because I don't know what it is.
Okay. Do you want to? Wait. Are you gonna eat all of them?
No, I'm not gonna eat the ones that I know. I mean, maybe I will later, but I'm confident in this. I'm confident in these 4.
You have 1.5 correct.
What are you talking about? This is Twix.
Maybe that's the one.
It has the cookie crunch. Wait a minute. Yeah, that's Twix. Wait a minute.
Can you recognize nougat versus cookie?
Oh, what is this? This is Bueno. This is Kinder Bueno?
You now have 2.5 correct. Out of 5?
There's 7 here.
Well, okay, but you've only identified 5.
Okay, this is Milka. I'm not even going to bother.
Uh-huh.
I said this was Coffee Crisp.
Uh-huh.
That's Coffee Crisp.
Final answer?
No, that's Coffee Crisp.
Okay.
I need a palate cleanser.
You have a glass of wine right there. Nothing was better with cheap candy bars than...
I don't think this is Mars. I've on site I thought it was Mars. I don't think it's Mars. What is this with the weird top? Is this some shit I've never heard of? Is this American?
It's not American.
Oh, the hell is that? That's dry. That's so dry.
None of them are past their best before date.
You did get them from Dollarama. Are you sure?
I didn't get all of them from Dollarama.
It was a great radio.
You'll cut most of it out.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Twix, correct?
you have to tell me what you think all of them are, and I will tell you what you get right or wrong.
I've never seen this before in my life. Oh, okay, there's no nut inside. Is this like a Ferrero Rocher bar? That's Milka.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know.
This isn't Coffee Crisp? This is Coffee Crisp.
Okay.
I don't know what this is. This isn't Mars. Got the swirl on top. Is this something I've never tried, like a Three Musketeers?
You've never tried a Three Musketeers?
No.
Even at Halloween?
I don't think so. Who buys that?
Nobody. You get it at Halloween. Okay, go down the lineup of what you think they are.
Ferrero Rocher.
Okay.
Twix.
Mm-hmm.
Kinder Bueno.
Mm-hmm.
Coffee Crisp.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to say Mars because I don't know what else.
Mm.
I don't know what this shit is.
Okay.
And Milka.
2.5 correct.
What? Okay, tell me what they are.
So that is a Biscolata Duo Max.
Get fucked.
Uh-huh. That is a duet bar.
What's a duet bar?
It is a knockoff Twix bar.
I hate you.
You did get a Kinder Bueno correct. That is a cold brew infusion coffee crisp. Okay. So I gave you a half point for that.
Thanks.
That is a Meteor bar, which is
that?
Which is a knockoff Mars bar.
I hate you.
Uh-huh. That's a Lupo bar.
It was terrible.
Okay.
What is it a knockoff of?
I don't know. It was. It looked like caramel. It kind of looks like a knockoff Mars bar.
It looks like the driest cake you've ever seen with a strip of dry caramel somehow with crumbly chocolate.
That just looks like. That looks incredibly dry. It
looks like a dog turd in spring that's been out there all winter and then it turns white.
Mm-hmm. And then you said that was a Milka bar?
It says Milka on it.
I should have only given you a half point, but you didn't even eat it. So
it's all Wait, cookies and cream Milka?
Right. It's a Milka Oreo bar.
Okay, well, I took a bite and now I can say that.
Yeah. So the trick was there was no Twix.
What was this knockoff Twix called?
It was called Duet. You want to see the package? We got another 1.8 bars in there.
You can take Biscolata Duo Max and who's ever heard of that?
I thought you might confuse it with Kinder Bueno.
I know a Kinder Bueno.
But it looks like a Kinder Bueno.
It looks like an Almond Joy.
Where are you taking that Biscolata? I got to do something with it later. Have another Kavorka. So what's on tap for next week?
Did you intend to buy knockoff bars, or were you going to get the real ones and try and test me? And then they had these ridiculous things at Dollarama, and you're like, this is better.
My plan was to get kind of like I did with Milka and Coffee Crisp, where I get like something very familiar, but like a variant. So you're like, because I figured if I just got like O. Henry and Mr. Big and whatever, you would have been able to identify them.
I hate Mr. Big.
Mr. Big's great. So I originally was like, I will get variations. And then I was driving by the Dollarama and I was like, they always have like weird, like,
yeah.
I was looking for like foreign or like whatever. And then they had all of these knockoffs. They had a knockoff Mars bar, knockoff Mounds, knockoff Kit Kat, knockoff Twix. And I could have just all done that, but I don't know.
Yeah. Now that I got it wrong, but I ate the rest of the piece of that Duet, and it doesn't taste like Twix. It tastes worse. So I wasn't even thinking knockoffs, but it was the one with the cookies. So I'm like, this has to be Twix, but it didn't taste like Twix.
Next week, we're going to do a double blind with real Twix and Duet.
Okay.
What's on tap for next week?
Next week is the reverse peephole.
So Kramer and Newman turn their peepholes around so that before they go into their apartment, they can check to see if anybody's hiding in there and going to hit them over the head with a sock full of pennies.
And people have a problem with season 9.
I think season 9's been great.
Well, I can't wait.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Believe it or not, this is our podcast. Please subscribe at the end. If you subscribed, we would be happy. Please subscribe to us. Believe it or not, it's our podcast.
Is that a Seinfeld reference?